The 16th Army was a Soviet field army active from 1940 to 1945. First formation, 16th Army. The 16th Army headquarters was formed in July 1940 in the Transbaikal Military District to command Soviet forces deployed in the Doria area. On the 25th of May 1941, 4 weeks before the commencement of the German invasion of the Soviet Union, Operation Barbarossa, the Army received orders to deploy to the Ukraine to be subordinated to the Kiev Special Military District. The first 16th Army units to arrive in Berdichev on the 18th of June 1941. The army was commanded by Lieutenant General F. Lukin, and on the 22nd of June the army headquarters was located in Oral. Soon after the commencement of Operation Barbarossa, a crisis situation developed on the Western Front sector of the front line, and on the 26th of June 1941, 16th Army was ordered to redeploy to the area of Orsha, Smolensk. However, the breakthrough of the German 11th Panzer Division in the direction of Ostrov during the afternoon of the 26th of June required an emergency response. Lukin took part of the 109th Motorized Division directly from disembarkation from the trains and directed them towards the enemy. The units involved were designated Group Lukin. On the 1st of July 1941, 16th Army consisted of the 32nd Rifle Corps, 2 artillery regiments, and the 5th Mechanized Corps, 126th Corps Artillery Regiment and the 112th Separate Anti-Aircraft Artillery Battalion. Most of the 16th Army began concentrating in the region of Smolensk, but the 5th Mechanized Corps was transferred to the 20th Army and participated in the counterattack April 6 to 9 July. On the 9th of July, a status report from the Army Chief of Staff said that the Command Group 32nd Rifle Corps and some units of 5th Mechanized Corps were still at peacetime establishment strength. About this time, the separate 57th Tank Division from the Far East joined the Army, and on the 20th of July elements of the 129th Rifle Division arrived as well. After the breakthrough of German mechanized troops to Smolensk, on the 14th of July, Marshal S. Timoshenko ordered Lukin to take command of all units in the garrison city of Smolensk, as well as units arriving in the city by rail and units in the defensive sector directly adjacent to the city. Communication with the rear could be maintained only through Solovyosk across a wooded and swampy area south of Yartsevo. Street fighting began. On the 20th of July, 129th Rifle Division's 4 committed battalions lost 40% of the strength defending the suburbs of Smolensk. 3 days later, a Western Front situation report said that, during the course of 22.7, 16th Army units continued to conduct severe street battle to secure Smolensk. In 34th RC, the trained and armed 127th Rifle Division and 158th Rifle Division went over to the offensive at 1222.7. The Army HQ was disbanded on the 8th of August 1941 after encirclement just west of Smolensk as part of the Western Front. Second Formation, 16th Army, as part of a restructuring of the forces of Western Front. On the 10th of August 1941, the Second Formation of 16th Army was created from forces in the Yartsevo area and placed under the command of Major General Konstantin Rokossovsky. In September 1941, the newly promoted Lieutenant General Rokossovsky was tasked with defending the Volokholamsk Highway and preventing any advance advance by German forces towards Moscow. By late November, 16th Army had gradually been forced back to the line Krasnaya Polyana Krukova Wistra, but here it held firm until the Red Army went over to the offensive in December. In January 1942, the Army conducted an offensive on the Giza-Hattisk axis. In the second half of January 1942, the forces of 16th Army were transferred to the command of 5th Army, and 16th Army headquarters was deployed to the area of Sukhanichi, where the Army HQ took command of some of the troops and defensive positions of 10th Army. By February, the frontline positions in the Sukhanichi area had stabilized. On the 15th of July 1942, Rokossovsky was transferred to take command of the Bryansk front as part of new commander arrangements made by Soviet High Command in response to the disastrous Battle of Voronezh. General Zhukov, the commander of Western Front, requested that SDAVK Airpoint Lieutenant General Hovhan Bagramyan, the deputy commander of the right flank 61st Army, as the commander of the 16th Army in Rokossovsky's place. On the 11th of August 1942, German forces mounted a surprise offensive on the southern flank of Western Front, splitting 61st Army from 16th Army, which was not taking part in the RZHEV Sychuka offensive operation. The German forces threatened Bagramyan's left flank and he reacted quickly, moving his forces to counter the German threat and halting their advance on the 9th of September. Until May 1943, the troops of the Army conducted defensive and offensive battles on the Zhizhadrinsky district axis. On the 1st of May 1943, on the basis of Stavka directives of the 16th of April 1943, the Army was reorganized into the 11th Guards Army in the Western Front. Orders of battle on the 1st of October 1941: 38th Rifle Division, 108th Rifle Division, 112th Rifle Division, 214th Rifle Division, 127th Tank Brigade, 49, 471, 587 Corps Artillery Regiment, 375 Howitzer Artillery Regiment of Supreme High Command Reserve, 700 Anti-Tank Defense Artillery Regiment, 110th Guards Mortar Regiment, 42, 133 Motorized Engineer Battalion, 243, 290 Separate Sapper Battalion. On the 1st of April 1942, 5th Guards Rifle Corps, 11th Guards Rifle Division, 4th Rifle Brigade, 30th Rifle Brigade, 115th Rifle Brigade, 123rd Rifle Brigade, 12th Guards Rifle Division, 97th Rifle Division, 322nd Rifle Division, 323rd Rifle Division, 324th Rifle Division, 328th Rifle Division, 19th Rifle Brigade, 94th Tank Brigade, 146th Tank Brigade, 41 Guards Corps Artillery Regiment, 486 Artillery Regiment, 523 Cannon Artillery Regiment, 533 Anti-Tank Defense Artillery Regiment, 531, 240 Separate Guards Mortar Battalion, 172 Separate Anti-Aircraft Artillery Battalion, 43 Separate Armored Train Battalion, 145, 243, 451 Separate Engineer Battalion, 835 Separate Sapper Battalion, 168 Fighter Aviation Regiment, 693, 735 Light Bombardment Regiment. On the 1st of January 1943, 11th Guards Rifle Division, 97th Rifle Division, 217th Rifle Division, 322nd Rifle Division, 324th Rifle Division, 4th Rifle Brigade, 6th Guards Tank Brigade, 43 Separate Armored Train Battalion, 21 Light Artillery Brigade, 523 Cannon Artillery Regiment, 545, 546 Mortar Artillery Regiment, 10 Separate Guards Mortar Battalion, 1280 Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 4 Separate Anti-Aircraft Artillery Battalion, 226, 243, 367 Separate Engineer Battalion, 168 Mixed Aviation Regiment. 3rd Formation, 16th Army. 16th Army was formed for the third time on 10 July 1943 in the Far Eastern Front and was based on the Special Rifle Corps. For the spring of 1945, the Army was responsible for the defense of the Soviet state border with Japan on the island of Sakhalin, and also along the mainland coast of the Tartar Strait from Sovetskaya Gavin to Nikolisk on Amur. On 5 August 1945, the 16th Army, incorporating the 56th Rifle Corps, 3rd, 103rd and 104th Fortified Areas, 5th and 113th Separate Infantry Brigades, 214th Tank Brigade, and a number of separate infantry, tank, artillery and other units, was subordinated to the newly formed 2nd Far East Front. 56th Rifle Corps, under General Lieutenant J.V. Novoselsky, consisted of 79th Rifle Division, 2nd Rifle Brigade, the Sakhalin Rifle Regiment, the 6th Battalion and other formations and units. During the Soviet-Japanese War, in cooperation with the Russian Pacific Fleet, 16th Army advanced into Japanese-held South Sakhalin in the invasion of South Sakhalin, and its forces were involved in the invasion of the Kuril Islands. On the 1st of October 1945, the Army was subordinated to the Far Eastern Military District and within a month was disbanded. Army Commander M.G. Dubkov, Maj. Gen. Leon T. Cheremissov, Major General.